hostess in America, and I'm still doing my thing. What's your excuse? Turn up.
The voters listen to this program, the University of Common Sense. In the studio with us, we're going to go straight to the studio. In the studio with us is, who we got, Brittany?
We have the Honorable Judge Janet Colaluca. She's your judge in the Cleveland Municipal Court. She's serving on one of the court's dedicated domestic violence dockets. She's a member of Cuyahoga County Domestic Violence Task Force. She was previously the judge of the Cuyahoga County Domestic Relations Court, magistrate in the Cuyahoga County Domestic Relations Court, County Probate Court, Juvenile Court, and in the village of Bratenahl. She was born and raised in Cleveland's West Park neighborhood. So we're going to go ahead and learn more about Judge Janet Colaluca.
You know what, Judge? Some people wonder why I love to bring judges on this show. That's why I invited you. Let me tell you something about me, I wasn't always old. At one time I was a young man. And when I was a young man, got in a little trouble. Using a little drugs, got in a little trouble, all right? So I went before the judge. First experience, all right? First timer, the judge gave me probation, all right? All right, but that wasn't good enough. A little while later, I got in some more trouble. Now, the judge that I had was known as a strict judge. So you go before him twice, you might get a little time, all right? So here I am, I got another case. So now I got two cases. I said, Lord, there ain't no way in the world this hard judge is going to give me back-to-back probation, all right? I look like I'm finna get some jail time, all right? But I went before the strict judge again. And for some reason, this judge felt me. It's that he felt me, and to make a long story short, he gave me probation on top of probation. I had 5 years probation. He felt me because you know what, Judge? I did that 5 years probation and ain't looked back since because this judge felt me. And so you're on domestic relation bench now?
No, I used to be on the domestic. I'm on the Cleveland Municipal Court now.
All right, you're on Cleveland Municipal Court.
That's right.
All right, and you're running for what?
To keep that seat. I'm on that court now, and I want to keep that seat come November.
All right, so Judge, segueing right in. So when a person come before you, are you a strict, by the rule person, or you can feel them a little bit?
Well, we all take an oath to uphold the law, but believe me, I'm a big believer of second chances, maybe even third and fourth chances. That's the whole point of Cleveland Municipal Court. We're a problem-solving court. And we meet people where we find them every single day. And certainly if somebody comes in my court and maybe has some underlying issues, we can get them back on track, get them hooked up with some services and some resources so they don't reoffend and come back over and over again, or even escalate up to the county police court. So yes, I am one of those judges that, as I said, believe in second chances, absolutely.
Judge, I'll tell you another thing about my background, which make me believe that I need to talk to judges more than anybody else on this program. Because throughout my life, mayor races is good, and governor and president, but in my personal life, as many in the community, they intertwine with judges more than any other political officials.
That's right.
And therefore, if in our lives, the voters, the millions of listeners that I have, we intertwine with judges more, so you all have more of a say-so in our lives, whether it's through fines, penalties, jail, than anybody. And so, Judge, that's why it's so important to have you on.
Well, thank you. And Art, what I like to say is, voting for your president, voting for your congressperson, voting for your mayor, certainly this year, and council folks, those are all important positions. We all have to vote.
Yes, they are.
But the judge is the only person on your ballot that has the ability to take not only your property, your liberty, and even in extreme cases, even take your life.
Yes.
So you better know who you are voting for, and vote for the person that's going to, take care of you and your community and be sensitive to your needs. And please, I tell everybody, make sure you educate yourself. You find out who you're voting for judge. and vote for judges. There's a huge drop-off on the ballot. So when you walk in the voting booth and you vote for your president or your congressperson, by the time you get all the way down to the very bottom of the ballot, that's where the judges are. They talk about a 40% drop-off. That's just crazy.
Judge, that's why I got you in the studio, because I want to change that drop-off. Because, listen, I'll be honest with you. For years, it's been a drop-off for me. Oh, the president, check.
Sure.
The mayor, check. Get to the judges with the most important part of my life, and here I'm guessing. We're not going to guess about you. Who are you?
Sure. I'm Judge Janet Colaluca. I'm one of your judges in the Cleveland Municipal Court.
And how long you been there?
So I've been on the bench now about a year and a half in
All
the
right.
Cleveland Municipal Court. But as I said, I've been a judge over in domestic relations court and a magistrate for all those years. So all in all, I've been on the bench in some form or another about 20 years. So I've been a public servant for well over 20 years.
And in those years, you have figured this thing out that your calling is a judge, right?
That's right. That's right. I had a private practice as well. When I wasn't a full-time judge or a full-time magistrate, I had my own private practice, and I handled all those kinds of cases that we handle in municipal court today. And so I bring to the bench, not only have I only been a judge or a magistrate, but I've also had private practice experience. So I was representing folks and their family issues, in their municipal court kind of cases, your DUIs, your domestic violence cases. So not only was I a judge and a magistrate, but I was also in the trenches as a lawyer on the street representing folks that come in my office. So I bring that perspective.
So Judge, #1 show, the hottest show,
That's right.
millions of listeners. Tell them why they should vote for you.
Sure. Well, I would be honored, and I believe that you need to ask people for their vote out of respect, and I ask people for their vote all the time. I believe that I should continue to represent you, because you are the ones that vote for the judges, and you need to know who you're voting for. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong Cleveland resident, grew up on the west side of Cleveland. I have been in practice. I've been a lawyer about 26 years come this November. And as I said, out of those 26 years I've been...
Hey, a lawyer and a pretty good one, right?
Well, that's I'd like
okay,
to...
all right, I think so. That's what your reputation
Right.
say. Go ahead.
And so, I've been in many different courts, and that experience, not only in the court, I've been in juvenile court and domestic relations court, and I've been in probate court and mayor's court, and especially right now I'm one of the judges that handle domestic violence dockets in our court. And so I handled many domestic violence cases while I was in the domestic relations court. So when I first came on the Cleveland Municipal Court, I sat down with our presiding judge, Judge Adrian, and he said to me, where do you see yourself making the biggest impact? Where do you see having such a wonderful contribution to our court? And I said, without a doubt, domestic violence. Domestic violence is my passion, it's my commitment. I'm very, very involved in resources in the community, fighting domestic violence, fighting for rights of victims, educating the folks that come through our court that may, that may be a cycle that they've been exposed to, and they need to break that cycle, so we help those folks as well. So I feel very fortunate to be one of the judges in our court that handle domestic violence cases.
I don't want to get too political. I have a somewhat of a personal question. The judges are kind of in the same boat, historically, you can say, as the police, from the perspective of the minority community. So there tends to be a broad stroke of the police are this way, the system is this way. As a judge, what would you say is, I guess, like a myth? Because when we come in the courtroom, we have a preconceived notion of judges. So is there I guess within the judge community or whatever, is there some kind of, how do they feel about that? That's basically my question.
Sure. Well, that's a very real perception, and we know that. I know that. But I can assure you that it's the state's burden to prove any criminal matter, and they have to prove in a criminal matter beyond a reasonable doubt. That means if there's only one person in a jury that doesn't believe, then the court has to find in favor of the defense. I've had plenty. I had a jury trial not too long ago where we found for the defense. the police officer testified and presented a case, but there just wasn't enough there. That the state did not meet their burden, and absolutely, we found a defense verdict. We do it all the time. You take the facts and you apply them to the law in each specific case. And, you know, in my courtroom, and I can say in all the courtrooms in our court, that is a strict level of proof that needs to be met, and absolutely.
Now this one, I don't know if you can answer this one. You can maybe give me like a general answer. Have you or anyone that you know or whatever, have they ever regretted a decision they made? Like making, you know, someone guilty or not guilty. Have they looked back and said, maybe I should have found them another decision or something else? How common is that? You don't have to give specifics, but is that something that is common?
I'd say it's a lot more common in the domestic relations court, where you have his side, her side, and the truth somewhere in between oftentimes, so there's a lot of gray. There's a lot of sleepless nights in that court. And certainly in the Cleveland Municipal Court, have I regretted a decision? You know, I can say that I've never regretted how I applied the facts to the law, but I regret the circumstances that bring folks into our court every single day. I have regret about that as to why these folks are in this type of situation where they're in front of me. And that's why we're the problem-solving court. If we can we don't just process cases through our court, we try to identify each, or at least I can say I do, each person that comes in front of me, I try to identify what are some of the causes that may be causing them to be in front of me. And then maybe if we can identify those causes and then kind of get them in the jet stream where we can address those causes so they don't reoffend or escalate and end up in the common pleas court. So,
Judge, I like that answer, because what you said was that you are a judge, but you also are a decent human being who have feelings and all that too. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We're all human beings.
Yes. 216-578-1490. 216-578-1490. Who's on the line? Talk to me. We're talking to the judge. All right, and go ahead, caller. Who's on the line? Talk to me. Yes, hello? Who's on the line? Talk to me.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, go right ahead, Miss Hattie.
All right, Miss. Hello.
Hello.
I'm calling to speak concerning Judge Colaluca.
Go right ahead. She's on the line.
She's a very outstanding personality, and she cares about other people. We need more judges like her.
Oh, God bless
So
you.
I just wanted her to know that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Keep up the good work, Judge.
Oh, thank you. It makes it all worth it to hear calls like this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Hattie?
Yes.
So I assume that you are voting for the judge then.
Of course, I'm supporting the judge.
All right. Thank you for your phone call, ma'am.
Okay, well, good luck.
All right, no doubt about it. So let's talk about this for a minute, Judge. All right. Listen, it's very interesting to me. Domestic relations. You were on that court.
Yes, I was.
All right. So now you're with the city court, and your main forte is domestic violence.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So tell me, how did domestic relation court, which you have a lot of experience in, how were you able to transcend some of that knowledge into the domestic violence court?
Sure, absolutely. In domestic relations court, that court issues what's called a civil protection order, which individuals can apply to that court for protection if the violence or the alleged violence includes household members. So you go to that court to get a civil protection order, and that order, if you obtain that order, can be in effect for up to 5 years. We in the Cleveland Municipal Court issue what's called criminal protection orders, and those are same sort of a coverage as far as for a person who obtains it against an individual. It doesn't have to be a household member, so if there's violence and you believe that you feel threatened or fearful, you can come to the Cleveland Municipal Court and get a protection order. That protection order lasts the duration of the domestic violence case. Once they sentence on that domestic violence case, that protection order terminates. So there's two different kinds of protection. One you get across the street in the domestic relations court, and that can last up to 5 years, but that has to be between two household members. What we issue in the Cleveland Municipal Court is a criminal protection order. You don't have to be a household member to seek that protection. and that order terminates once the case is disposed of. So I was able to take the experience in working with folks with the civil protection order for all those years. I worked over 13 years really in the domestic relations court, and apply that knowledge base of working with domestic violence issues to the Cleveland Municipal Court.
So let me ask you this: domestic violence.
Yes.
Generally, we think of it as domestic violence against women.
Mm.
Are there many cases that you have with domestic violence against men?
I wouldn't say many, but absolutely, yes. I can name 2 or 3 on my docket right now.
And you could deal with those with the same vigor or
Without a
justice.
doubt. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of times you'll see child endangering charges that come as a result of the same incident. And to me, those are one of the hardest cases, when you see a domestic violence case come before you, where you have 2 individuals, 2 adults in a relationship, or there may be abuse, there may not be abuse, but regardless, there may have been an incident, and there may be a child or children that have witnessed that incident. And then that person who's being charged with the domestic violence could be charged with endangering children as well. And those are cases that we hear as well.
So this is a very important reason you're already into this, that you need to stay on the bench, right?
I would say so. I every day I come in and I'm learning more and more, and I won't stop learning more. Every day I'll bring my knowledge and my experience to the position.
No doubt about it. So you'll stay in the same realm, the domestic violence, if you're reelected?
I would hope to. It's up to the presiding judge. They make the assignments as to what docket you hear, but I would absolutely. Some of the judges don't necessarily like those cases. They have expertise in other areas, but I would absolutely ask the court to continue to have me hear those cases.
No doubt about it. Judge, it's a pleasure to have you. Listen, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on is because you have a lot of support in the community.
Oh.
From the ministers to the regular community, and they just felt like that, as you said, when you're voting, you start up with the president, and when you get down to the judges, it drops off.
That's right. That's right.
We don't want it to drop off when it comes to who you are.
Well, thank you.
So again, my dear sister, dear judge, again, will you appeal to the people why they should vote for you?
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. And you know, the candidates will come in and they'll talk about who's endorsing them. They'll have a list as long as their arm about elected officials and unions, which are all important, and I have those same endorsements. But one of the most important endorsements that I am honored to have is the Clergy Coalition, Cleveland Clergy Coalition, which is a coalition of influential pastors in our community who have sat down and met with candidates in different races. And they have found that I would be most sensitive to the issues in the community, and I'm very honored to have that endorsement.
Well, I'll tell you what, Judge, I know a lot of the Cleveland Clergy Coalition, and if they're for you, you got a winner, okay?
Thank you.
So I love that they actually it's for you, the Cleveland Clergy Coalition.
That is right.
Oh my goodness! Well, that's a beautiful thing.
That's right.
Then that will transform into votes, along with everything else. It's a pleasure to have you
Thank you.
on.
It's my pleasure.
So
Keep up the good work.
so how's your campaign going?
Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. We have a great team of volunteers in place. We enjoy getting out in the community, meeting, the festivals and the parades and the churches and the barber shops and the beauty salons, just getting to know the folks, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Listen, I'm going to put a friend of mine on the spot. I know he didn't come here to talk, but I'm going to put him on the spot, on the spot, make him grab that yellow microphone right over there, and come on, talk. Somebody. Yes, sir.
Hi, Brother Art McCord, my dear brother. I appreciate you having us here today. I had planned on not speaking at all, Brother McCord. But
You
it's
can't
always
do
good
that.
with you.
Yes.
Always good to be with you, Doctor. I appreciate that. And listen, since you gave me the microphone, let me just announce the Cleveland Clergy Coalition, along with the United Pastors Mission and a host of other folks, are sponsoring a community forum this coming Thursday. And Brother McCoy, we need you to be there August 24th at you know it, Greater Abyssinia Baptist Church, where the Reverend Dr. E.T. Cavanis is always and continues to be the senior pastor and our leader. I thank God for him. I was trying to get him to come with me today, but he had a tough, long day today. But I know he's listening. I was surprised, Reverend, if you're listening, give us a call. We're going to give away 300 book bags to the first 300 parents and grandparents who come to this forum, and we're going to be talking about why we support the Q Project. You know, when we support things, we like to inform people why we're doing it. So if you have questions about the Q Project, you've been hearing a lot of information from other resources. We want to tell you what the truth is. It's Dr. C.J. Matthews, but Norm Edwards is going to be there. We're going to have just a great time, and we're going to have the Sure House Band. We have a band. We're going to have music. It's going to be a festive kind of event as well. And we're going to put our radio show, Brother McCoy, on the road. Basically, Dr. Cavanis and I and our folks will be talking about why we support this issue. So come on out this coming Thursday at 6:30, Greater Abyssinia Baptist Church. And we thank God for Judge Janet Colaluca.
Let me say one thing before you go right into her, okay?
All right.
Judge, the Reverend Cavanis didn't come because Reverend Cavanis scared of me. He was scared to come down to the studio and face off with me. Reverend Cavanis, I know you're listening. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Next time, come on down. I'll be easy on you, okay? Go ahead, sir.
Right.
Go ahead, sir.
You know he is listening.
Yes,
you'll probably get a call now. But listen, we are supporting Judge Janet Colaluca. We took her to churches today, and the clergy have embraced her. She is really transforming our community. We thank God for her. And you're absolutely right, Art. The most of the people that our folks will contact with is the judges. That's why this is very important. And every time we're supporting a judicial candidate, we make sure they come by the Art McCoy Show, the University of Common Sense, because you are a common sense guy and you understand why we have to be informed to make these important decisions.
Wait a minute, you left one thing out.
What's that?
I'm number one.
You're number one.
Then talk about it.
You're number one. We're number two. You're number one.
That's right.
You're number one.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are.
That's right.
But you got me coming on your show. You're absolutely right. You're the number one show. Absolutely. Yeah, but we'll be here tomorrow. We'll be on our show tomorrow. But we thank God for you, Brother McCoy. We'll take our things from you.
All right, you'll be on your show tomorrow. Tell them about it.
Okay. Well, we'll have the issues of people in the community. Dr. Cavanis and I, Reverend Berry, will be on the show tomorrow. We'll be talking about these kind of issues, the Q Project, and some other things that are happening in our community this week.
What time and what's the name of the show, brother?
The issues, the people in the community that is sponsored by the Cleveland Clergy Coalition every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m.
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, thank you, Brother McCoy. Appreciate you.
No doubt about it. Listen, sir, you've been itchy. Move out the way. You sure? All right, okay, all right. You sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I always thought that female judges, for me, on my case, were always more compassionate. And I'm serious about that. Judge Mac Mahone and some of the others years ago before your time, I always preferred to go before a lady judge. Now I know that since that time they got some harder lady judges that stern and strict. I don't want to see them, but honest to goodness, Judge, I don't want to go before you. But if I had to, I think I would rather go before you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
What I tell people is, the Cleveland Municipal Court is your court. And anytime you are in the Justice Center, please just stop by. Say hello. We're on 12B. Come and watch our proceedings. They're open. We welcome that. And we look forward to that.
Judge, this is your last opportunity. Listen, I'm very serious about this. We have millions of listeners, and the people vote. Judge, you're beautiful, Judge. I'm serious. Listen. Oh my goodness, I got to go to my phone lines real quick. We're talking to the judge. All right, I forgot about the judge. Who's on the line? Talk to me.
You know who's on the line, my brother.
All right. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
Because I'm afraid of you. You're my main squeeze, brother. What are you talking about?
I know, but you were scared to come in the studio, Reverend Cap.
Man, I'm always there. Ubiquitous, brother. What you talking about?
Judge, I didn't mean to get you riled up, okay?
You got me riled up. I don't know how you come. I'm afraid to come on that radio show,
because
brother.
you would have been here, Judge. We tried to get you on, but you didn't come.
Oh no, I'm always there, brother. If I'm not there in person, I'm there in spirit.
We love you, Reverend Cavanis. Reverend Cavanis, you got 1 minute to say something beautiful about the judge.
The judge is a lady who understands people's plight. and she's empathetic and sympathetic with their needs. She's a just judge, always there to make sure that we get justice and that we have an ear that understands our situation.
Well, thank you, Reverend
Thank you,
Kevin.
Reverend Kavanaugh.
Lord have mercy. That's good. Next time, don't be scared to come into the radio. Hey, how was service today? How was the service today,
Pretty
Reverend?
fair, my brother. Pretty fair. We missed you, but we were right there.
Let me let you get off the radio, okay?
All right, you tell Aaron Phillips to keep up the good work.
Yes, thank you, sir. All right.
All right, don't forget now. We're going to be there to make sure everybody in this town understands what is good for our people, and that's the Q deal that needs to go with all these jobs that our kids need.
Thank you so much, Reverend
Okay,
Kavanaugh.
my brother. Thank
All
you.
right, all right. We'll take one more call. Who's on the line? Talking to the judge.
How you doing? This is Judge Taylor.
All right, you're talking to the judge. Come on with your comment.
How are you doing today?
Yes, sir. Come on with your comment to the judge.
Yes, what is her name again?
Judge Colaluca. Janet Colaluca.
Oh, I heard about you.
All right, you are a voter. I want you to hear about it. All right.
Yes, I am a voter, and I am a candidate for Ward 4 Councilman, write-in Kennedy.
All right.
Taylor.
All right. Thank you so much, Dantes Taylor. We appreciate you. All right.
Good luck to you.
Yes, and don't forgive me on September 12th.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's time. Give me some music, son. It's time to go.
Oh, I've enjoyed myself. Thank you, Art.
I really appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
No doubt about it. You're a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
You're a judge.
I'm a judge.
Hit me with your closing argument.
That's good.
Well, I don't know how I can top Reverend Kavanaugh's endorsement, but I'll try. I am, as I said, I am honored to be your judge in the Cleveland Municipal Court, and with your help, I would like to remain your judge. I bring a whole host of experience to the bench. I'm a mother. I'm a Cleveland girl, born and raised here. I understand the issues of the community, and we're a problem-solving court. And my goal is for you to be in a better position when you walk out of my courtroom as when you came into it.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, my goodness. And vote for who?
Judge Janet Colaluca.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Art.